What happened in qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix?
Everyone would just think their computer's broken.
Let's dive into what happened in Q1. We had Piastri, Zhou, Sargent, Bottas, and Perez out. Yeah, that's right. We've got a Red Bull grid sandwich for tomorrow's race. Verstappen, of course, pole. We know all about that. Whatever. Moving on. But Perez, on his first flying lap, having an absolute stinker, locking up his brakes at turn 3 and getting beached in the gravel. Now, he blamed something on the team radio, said that it was something or other that maybe went wrong, and blamed the team, kind of. He was like, something was wrong with the car. But either or, in the gravel, starting P20.
Perez had an absolute shocker in FP3 as well. He was going off every single corner, has to be said. Absolute shocker. And then, gets into the first part of qualifying, and you think, just take it easy. You've got, well, according to your teammate, like half a second on the whole field, so you'll be fine. Don't worry about it. And just goes in too hot into the corner. Mate, you must have some kind of issue with the car not set up. I can see the conspiracy theories already of sabotage, but no, I'm sure there's just
sabotaging his brakes.
Sabotaging his brakes. That's what they do. Max's car definitely didn't brake in the last race as well in qualifying, so they're too.
And Perez's car was literally being put back together before qualifying because there clearly was a problem with it. So there must have been something not right or not synced up correctly for Perez to make that mistake, especially in Q1. It's definitely a lot more difficult for Perez to make his way through the field. I think he's going to have to rely potentially more on strategy, maybe perhaps an overcut to allow him some fresh air to push his way up through the field. I still think he'll be able to achieve a top 5. The podium might be a stretch, but it depends. We might get a well-timed safety car, for example, that will help Perez. We move now to Q2, and it was kind of just a middle session of not much events going on. Ocon was probably the big scalp, being dropped out by 7,000ths of a second. Tsunoda, Norris, Magnussen, and De Vries, of course, Piastri out in Q1, Norris out in Q2, and it's just more McLaren woe. And you put them as biggest good surprise.
God's sake. I know. I'm just useless, aren't I?
But I saw that. I thought that was a fair prediction because you're thinking, I can't get any worse than the first 2 races. Surely. But there's not much improvement.
Did better in Saudi, if anything.
Got through to Q3 in Saudi, didn't he?
Well, he did, yeah. But they've not looked very good at all. This is the kind of circuit that you think Lando Norris would thrive on. Last year, I think he was 4th in quali last year. Really, really suited the McLaren, but they're struggling big time. There's been a lot of talk that they've just got a very small operating window, and them just raising the car a tiny bit for the regulations just means it's absolutely screwed them. And Norris down in P13 is a big shocker. And then probably, if we're going to kind of mention about drivers that haven't done particularly well, I think we've got to mention, firstly, Kevin Magnussen, because Hülkenberg was doing some serious bits in the whole of quali, it has to be said. And then Bottas has just looked nowhere. Maybe his mullet is slowing him down a bit or something, and extra few tenths. But since that first worldie of a race where it looked like me putting him so low in the championship was an absolutely awful prediction, it's been pretty woeful.
It's very true. Alfa Romeo have been absolutely nowhere. Thankfully, Bottas has got a few points, so maybe 16th was a bit too aggressive from you in the Drivers' Championship. Maybe they'll have a few more good weekends, but it's just been dreadful for them, and they're very much, I would say, the slowest team now, collectively, 17th and 19th in Q1. So that moves us quite swiftly on now to Q3. And out of nowhere, Verstappen just, popping in laps, looked very much untouchable. And Verstappen had a very ropey first lap, 17.5 he put in. The car looked a handful. The track conditions just seemed to get quite a lot more slippery out there for reasons that weren't rain by the looks of things. And yeah, Hamilton, after the first run, was fastest from Alonso, then Russell, and Verstappen was 0.3 off the top. And we're all of a sudden, we were seeing what a reality would look like without Red Bull dominating half a second down the road. And my God, was it a good qualifying up until Max sorted his life out.
It was. And there was also the threat of rain in the air, which never actually came. But
Ferrari predicted it, Tommy, so surely it should have come true, right?
I know, right? But Hamilton, Alonso and Russell were separated by, I think it was 0.07 of a second or something. So incredibly close there. And then we thought, this could, if the rain comes now, Verstappen's going to be starting, I think he was down in 6th, perhaps, 0.3 off. Really close session. Everyone other than Verstappen, it's incredibly close there. So if they do get pegged back, there is hope. But they are very clear ahead.
I have a small amount of hope that maybe Mercedes can get in the mix with Verstappen, but they're going to need to ruffle a few feathers for Max and not allow him to just extend his legs and just chill out and be half a second quicker a lap. But we'll see. The Red Bull has been mighty in race pace, so there is a small amount of hope. That's all there is right now. But second and third's a great position for Merc to be in.
If Red Bull weren't in the mix or kind of dropped into this, it's a fascinating battle between them. And you've also got 3 teams with very different philosophies, because Mercedes have built a very different car, Ferrari have a different car, the Aston looks more like the Red Bull philosophy. So I think those 3 cars, it will just change depending on kind of what circuits we go to and what will suit them, which is an exciting prospect.
God, can you imagine? I know, just as a Formula One fan, I want it and I need it. But if Red Bull just pulled back just a tiny bit and we would have a 4-team championship.
It always happens, doesn't it, where when you get one team dominating, it's never just... It's not
like
so
spread
painful
evenly.
Because, it's not, that you always get an absolutely titanic battle.
Let's talk quickly about Alex Albon, P8 in quali. What a performance, constantly purple in that middle sector. He did a 17.6, which just pipped Gasly to P8 in the end. Whether Albon can make any steps forward, I'm not sure. Of course, you've got the Ferraris, the Aston Martins, the Mercedes, and one Red Bull. The Williams is not going to have that race pace, but yes, I fully envisage an Albon train from 8th backwards, and that's maybe where Perez will get stuck in, is because Albon's far too quick in that middle sector to potentially even get overtaken.
I don't think many people are going to be getting past that Williams, because they are unbelievable in a straight line. I mean, that is the sector where Alex Albon was going purple, because it's just an unbelievable setup. Just that car just works so well on the straights.
Well, that is it. Thank you so much for watching or listening to this Saturday qualifying roundup. We'll be live on Twitch, Matt P1 Tommy, tomorrow, bright and early for the race. It should be a good one. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Be interesting to see how Perez gets through and if the Mercedes can challenge Red Bull. We'll see you tomorrow for the race watch along. If not, for funniest tweets and all other the good stuff that we'll be putting out. Bye.
Bye.